Right. My apologies, Amazonians. I am making this address out of our headquarters, so don't mind the quality of the lighting. I would like to make, first, let me greet each and every one of you here present today. And I'm very grateful that each time we announce these meetings, many of you take off your time to come and listen to whatever we have to say. I'm grateful and humbled by your attendance. And I really want to thank you from the depth of my heart for still believing in us despite the difficulties. Thank you a lot. And we will never fail you. You should be rest assured that we will battle the enemy till the end of time and you will have your country. I would like to make some corrections, and I'll say this publicly to the AGOVC executive. You have to look at your scheduling very well so that you communicate proper information. I just listened to the information shared by the Secretary General of the AGOVC. I know there should be a fundraiser for Manu and FACO, which is critical. That seems not to have been indicated. We should do less talking. We'll inform the people where we are. The coordinators will tell you exactly what they are doing. The PS has explained to you the battles that have been raging on. My job here, I will be able to explain to you how each battle moves you closer to your independence. And I think the Secretary General should slightly adjust the program to make sure after the coordinators, the defense chairman is surely in the house. I spoke with him yesterday. He should have priority of place to speak. The Secretary General of the ADF, who is the master person on the ground, will be able to speak. And then the coordinators are coordinated by the OGC. She will just briefly bring them in and they'll introduce themselves to our people and explain to our people what they have been doing thus far. And then we will get people to commit. Before we came in here, I don't know if that you've been told that, but many people have really committed financially. We should have probably raised $4,000 to $5,000 for FACO already. So we should be able to move forward. After the coordinators to fundraiser, after that, we will have the expert on international. Everything we do, whether ground zero or whatever, is to make sure we back our diplomatic arm. There are many things we will never tell you in what we do in diplomacy, because they're what they call the NDAs. Sometimes you meet high level personalities. We are not considered as state actors now. So when you meet high profile personalities, you are obliged to sign the NDAs, non-disclosure agreement. And so there have been a lot going on. We will not be able to explain to you, but we've been talking to the highest ranking personalities in the world because they want to listen to us about our position, the position of the Amazonian people. So we will not use these diplomatic overtures for any PR campaign. So it will remain locked, and at the appropriate time, you will be informed what the outcomes are, and it must be consistent to your aspirations. All right, once more, thank you, Amazonians. This is your servant, and I am grateful for you. I mean, still believing in me and the strategy that we have put in place. I want to thank the executive of the Amazonian Governing Council. Thank you very sincerely for the past 3.5 years. You have remained steadfast. You've built a powerful organization that is the anchor of our revolution, and its actions are based on policies carefully debated and articulated to make sure they are consistent with what exactly the Amazonian people want. Leadership is difficult, and so the AGOVC leadership has worked within the premise of its charter and its policies and good practices. I want to also thank our defense leadership for the wonderful job that they are doing. I think I can't thank you more for your steadfastness, setbacks you've had, but you've gotten out of the pit and walked again. I want to thank our brave soldiers on the ground for all the brave work that they have been doing. The other day we lost a brave soldier who has been fighting for 3.5 years. He fell in battle, and the Battle of Benin. We also got a soldier wounded. It's very painful, I can assure you. We deal with these things on a daily basis. The pain is excruciating the men that you know, they fall in battle, you hear generals cry, you hear me cry, you hear everyone mourns. It's real, Ambazonians, it's real. This thing is not public relations. This thing is not about who we are. The revolutions for liberation is difficult. People die daily. Families are hurt because they've lost their kids. I know for some, it's just a game. It's something you can play with, but it's damn serious. And I know you take it serious because each time you come in here, you're damn serious about where you want your country to go. This week has been eventful in terms of the battles. And as you know, we are providing the materials for our people. For that, you can trust the Ambazonian Governing Council. If it means selling your kidney, we will sell it and provide guns for our people. We make no qualms about it. The defense of our people, their integrity, our territorial integrity, is the primary object for which the Ambazonian Governing Council was set up. It will not blink from that primary obligation against a country that believes only in the utilization of war weapons to articulate political issues. In our war of independence for the past 4 years, we have been consistent about what it will take. We have been consistent about the necessity to strengthen whatever we do at the international level by the actions we take on the ground. The field within the liberation struggle is competitive, and you are bombarded every day by information, by who is who. Probably that's for the future. Who is who in the present has to do with what we are contributing towards ending La Republique's impunity in our country. The Ambazonian Governing Council is not in the business of competing who is who. It matters not for us. What is critical are the decisions we make. Are the decisions consistent with the kinds of procedures and practical steps that we need to take to liberate our homeland, based on our knowledge on the occupier and based on our knowledge on the international system? Are the strategies we put in defense strong enough to be able to destabilize Cameroon? Those are the questions we answer on a daily basis. Have we supplied enough materials to keep our forces alive? Do they have what it takes, first, to defend themselves and stay alive before they defend their community and they defend their country? That is the question for leadership. You don't send people's children in battle and sit behind and you're playing politics of power. You send children in battle, you make sure you garner the resources to provide to them to stay alive and fight for freedom. You do not, never, and I made this clear to Gorgie Dinka when we met in 2002, once you restore independence, it has to be defended. That is the primary obligation of leadership. At this particular moment in our history, our only obligation is how do we defend the independence restored, proclaimed and asserted. That is our job. The rest, it will be left to the Ambazonian people to make that decision. So sometimes when I see disputes and discourses turn to personalities, I find it debilitating and unwelcome in a liberation struggle where on a daily basis, people lose their lives. So I really want to thank you for your steadfastness. Now, let me conclude by saying this. This is where we are. And I remember this. I will always tell you people the truth. I have no personal ambition in this war of independence. My personal ambition is to make sure we don't fail. I have worked in it for 32 years, and I have known why we fail each time. Don't forget, before now, you had something called the SCNC. You had something called SCAM, which was the Cameroon Anglophone movement turned into the Southern Cameroon's restoration movement. You had SCAPO. At each turn of event in the history of our struggle, organizations have emerged. They have claimed to be the all. They have claimed to be the one that know it all. What they have always failed to do is to prepare themselves against failure. against even the total destruction of their own organization. We have learned from 1989 that I started fighting that you must be able to tell our people how an action that takes place on point A will lead us to independence. If you are unable to know how your action in point A and point B leads you closer to independence, then you have to revise your strategy. In 32 years that we have fought, I have seen failures, whether under the SDF that I militated strongly. I have known why they failed. It was because of leadership. Leadership is the key, is the identity of, it's like the head. If they cut off your head, you probably need a DNA test to be able to ascertain your identity. But if they leave your head, you'll be able to know that this body is either Mr. P.S., Dr. Cho Ayaba, whosoever. The only reason we have failed in history has nothing to do with the lack of enthusiasm and determination of the people. It has to do with leadership. You have never failed, never. Whether under the SDF where John Fundi called people to shut down cities for 9 months, Ambazonians, you shut down cities for 9 months. They called on you to block highways and roads, you did it. Leadership has always failed you. And one of the reasons why leadership has failed is because organizations have not been structured enough where leaders accept criticism and change course. We've had in our history leaders who were more powerful than the organizations. Organizations could not scrutinize them. They made countless mistakes that cost our people a lot. As the defense chair said the other day in his outing, we could forgive the Funchas and the Munas because their failure did not come on the heels of thousands of people losing their lives. The next generation will never forgive us if we don't take the right steps, because if we fail, it will mean millions of people were displaced for nothing. Hundreds of thousands became refugees for nothing. Thousands were massacred for nothing. We will not only have lost our independence, we would have become a conquered people for La République to dictate the terms of how we are going to live under them. So leadership is critical. Who you want as your leader is different from who is leading. Who you dream to be your leader is different from who is leading. And you should be focused on leadership that is going to, at this stage, defend the independence restored and provide the hard solutions. Any leader who comes and tells you, you know, we have to just do this to make you happy. No, I'm not gonna do that. I will tell you today, you will have to fight and die to gain independence. All the leaders must be prepared to sacrifice their lives for the next generation to build on that foundation. You must be prepared to suffer. You must be prepared to go through pains if you want independence, to spend the rest of your lives in prison if you want independence. If you are prepared to, if you think you will take shortcut for independence, you are preparing yourself for disaster and you will not even ever have it. My people, it has been hard, but no generation in the history of the world has been able in the shortest time possible to humble an arrogant, unrepentant occupier like we have done. We should not take shortcuts. This is where we are. Remember carefully, I said this to you people. We will have to make ourselves an international contender. In the political balance of liberation struggles, you listen to the language, the terminology and narrative of the world. Remember carefully, you were simply nobody. You were just simply part of Cameroon. You became the Northwest, Southwest. You became the Anglophones. It took the bravery of the former US ambassador in Yaoundé to refer to you to whom you, to what you have assigned to yourself as your name, Ambazonians. That was a remarkable milestone. We listened to the French parliament debate about whether we were a nation or a people or not. That is a milestone. To the extent that you force the French parliament to even debate the issue of self-determination, because the concept of nationhood is directly linked to external self-determination, which is the premise of Article 1 of the UN Charter, the premise of Article 1 of the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, and the International Covenant on Economic, on Civil and Political Rights, and the premise of Article 20, paragraph 1 to 3 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Once you start hearing states debating whether you are a nation, you are reaching the point, like all countries that became free, rich, where the world says, hold on for a moment. These people deserve the right to self-determination. You know you have arrived. At this moment, they are still chatting. They are seeing the way you conduct yourself. My team has been meeting with people you will never ever believe. Never ever believe that we, these poor, wretched people, unrecognized, called Ambazonians, could ever get this level of people to meet with us. They didn't come to us because they love us. They didn't come to us because they care about the IDPs. They didn't come to us because they think you have a right to exist. Your dignity is as sacrosanct as theirs. They came to us because we compelled them through our resilience and action on the ground for them to make that move. It's a recognition and we are going somewhere. It is not the time for us to play politics with it. It's not the time for us to start claiming, oh, Ayaba is this. No, forget about us. It is the time to arm the guys on the ground more. Secondly, look at the economy of Cameroon. Any one of you who has studied any liberation struggle, you might win without totally having static control in a particular city. Our strategy was designed to bankrupt Cameroon, to make Cameroon transfer money from services like hospitals, schools, to the military. Once they do that, it reduces development, it reduces employment rate, it creates agitation within Cameroon. You heard Treasury got burnt. Remember 1992 when John Frundi won the elections. The Treasury of Victoria was looted by the Treasury General, and he was killed in the high sea when he left Ngeme going over to Nigeria. Those are signs. Cameroon's credit rating is described as the worst. Those are signs. The day Cameroon will make that call and say to you, Ambazonia, please let me live without humiliation. That's what they call negotiation. South Sudan did not negotiate with Sudan. Sudan realized it was going down and he made the decision not to go down under humiliation. Kosovo was the same. East Timor was the same. Eritrea was the same. We are close, very close. At the international level, the level of discussions that are going on should tell each Ambazonian that the world is beginning to come to the realization. You can't simply describe us as a geographic region of Cameroon. You can't simply allow 1 million people internally displaced, massacres going on continuously because another country insists on occupying another country. We have also demonstrated the kind of leadership that assures them if they allow us independence, we will be a stabilizing factor. We will be a system that creates opportunities through the creation of wealth. They have listened to us articulate our political vision. They have listened to us articulate our economic and social visions. They are comparing those articulations with the chaos going on in Cameroon, and they are bound to elect for you. And I really call upon all of you to be focused. FACO is critical. Forget Meza. We are in charge. Menchum, Bui, Momo, Manu is shaky. The coordinators will tell you why. Our strategy is to make sure you see urban warfare. We don't want to be fighting in the bushes. Urban warfare. We made Cameroon in Momo the other day. They escaped and abandoned their car. They escaped and abandoned their car. We were just about to get the car when they shot down one soldier, and we had to move the soldier away. That is how powerful those guys are. That is how resilient they are, fighting for 4 years non-stop. No holidays, no therapy, no salary, no thank you even. They aren't giving up even in the next 10 years. For me, even in the next 50 years, against La République, you will prevail. So my people, thank you very much. You are doing great, and I have confidence in what you have been doing. I want you to commit. I use commitment as opposed to donation. You donate to charity. Ambazonia is not a charity. Ambazonia is your homeland. Even if you have $10, sign up to TTO, to the takeover fund. Every month, give that $10. We want to supply soldiers every month with bullets. No month should pass without each state having at least 5,000 bullets. You will see the fighting. You will then know who is going to be the person to pick the ball and escape. So thanks a lot. And I will take questions at the end of this discussion. I will answer all of your questions with my team, and be rest assured it's going to be a wonderful meeting when it comes to the time listening to our defense people. Thank you very much. Mr. SG, over to you.